been listening to this song far too much. I'll be honest with you, a little bit too much. We'll loop it back and keep it quiet for a minute. Hello, everyone. It's been a minute. Do you all still remember me? I'm sorry. Oh, March was crazy. March was a little bit crazy. I'm gonna be real with you, chat. I kind of lost track of time and things went a little bit wild.
Welcome back, King of Heisting. We have awaited for your arrival for over 50 years. Finally, our great Lord of Heisting has returned.
I do not like that it read out Heisting letter by letter because I heard STI and shit myself. Thank you very much, Andy, for 39 months of Prime. How are you all doing? Oh.
Hello, Mr. Troy. Long time no stream. Nah, but I'm glad you are back. Welcome back to magical world of Payday. Absolutely nothing happened.
What's so funny is you could take that in two ways. You could take it as literally there's been no news, or like you may as well have missed nothing because anything that's happened has been bad. You could take it two ways. Folks, you know? But how's everyone doing? Welcome. Sam, I'll probably have to explain this more than once during the stream, and thank you also, Noel, for 31 months, that I've actually said that specifically. And we're also one sub off a Hype Train on Twitch. Kind of not surprising, because Hype Trains happen when you get more sub activity than you've had recently. I only streamed once in March. Yeah, sorry. So I had a week away. I just basically just a week just kind of to detox, get away from YouTube for a little bit. I came back and got COVID, literally as I was coming back. So that was great. Like the day after I started feeling sick, and then didn't shake it properly until just over a week after. I got pretty much back to normal within about 6-7 days. Fortunately, because I went down to London to see a play that Brie Larson was in, which was very, very good, and I'm glad because I got to meet her, which I was quite excited about. But I was very much preparing to not even go to that play because I was like, I'm not going to be up to it. Thankfully, Friday night I was okay, and by Saturday morning I was a bit better. I just still had like shit in my throat, man. Not literal shit, although it felt like it at times. But now it's all finally cleared up, thankfully. But since then, I'll be honest, the last week or two, I've just had no motivation to come back, and that's not to do with any of you guys. It's just, I mean, I've talked about this several times already, but there's very much a battle that goes on in my head sometimes of, you know, Payday is what does well on the YouTube channel. If it's not Payday, it's probably not going to do very well. Is it worth the effort? And I go through peaks and troughs of being like, fuck it, put the effort in. It's something you want to do. You'll be happy when it's out anyway. Even if it doesn't do well, do it for yourself. And also the side of, there's no fucking point. No one will watch it. It ain't worth the time you'll put into it. And my head bounces between those two things. Unfortunately, it's been the latter for the last couple of weeks, and also my other work. I've told you, a lot of you know I work as a tutor. My work's really picked up because exam season's coming up, so I've been really busy with that as well. It's also why streams have been a bit harder to pin down in the last few weeks, and why I just kind of went, fuck it, I'll focus on the work for a little bit. Hopefully, I'll be much better this month with that stuff, but we'll just see where we go. We'll be talking more about why you left the Crime Boss partnership. Oh, we're starting with big news, are we, Ellie? Is that what we're doing? I won't be right now. It's not because there's anything I'm trying to keep secret. I just would rather not go into it too much. Oh, do you know what I've just said? Do you know what I just said about my work being busy, chat? I've just had a new offer through for a new kid. Let me just check this real quick. Let's see. Interesting. Very, very interesting. What is that looking like? Let me reply to this message. Sorry, this is me making some money. There we go. See what he says to that. That was a fast reply. Listen, when you're working in tutoring and parents actually reply quickly, you take the effort to reply back. Trust me, you learn that. I was, so, this is the thing. The problem with me not streaming is that you don't really know what's been going on with me until ages after. Yeah, just to kind of get it out of the way because it might come up. Yeah, I had signed on to be part of the Crime Boss Partner Program for Crime Boss Rock A City. I signed on to it like late last year, like months ago. And they just didn't push it until about a month ago. For whatever reasons. Nothing, I don't think there's any bad reason. They just kind of were getting everything assembled and then put it out. Shortly after I made the decision to leave the program, for reasons I don't really want to get into right now. It's nothing against the game itself. I just... like I said, I don't really want to get into it. I know it sounds like me trying to keep a secret, like there's some big drama. I just would rather not dig into it at this particular moment. I probably will down the line, but I'm in no rush to get to kind of to go into it. And it's not some big like the game is shit now or something. It's nothing to do with the game. So that's as much as I'll say for now. My point still stands that I'm still very happy to work in partner programs with the games. It's just that particular one, unfortunately, I made the decision that it was best not to continue with that one specifically. So that's all I will share for now. Like I said, at some point I will probably go into more detail, but yeah. So I'm not currently in that program. As a result, that's why I've not made many videos talking about Crime Boss. Not necessarily against the game, but just kind of, you know, when you've just left a partner program, it's kind of a little bit like harder to be like, let's talk about the game I just left the program from. It's kind of the same effect I've had with Payday, where I left the Starbreeze partnership and kind of went, what am I doing with Payday now? I'm like, ugh. So yeah. Anyway, so that's the last month. It's been a little bit mad, but at least I'm making some more money in the tutoring side, because I fucking needed to. I was not making much cash across anything, and it was really stressing me out. But of course, still, any support is always appreciated. You all know that by now, and I hope you know the ways by now, if you'd like. What is your take on the released gameplay footage from Den of Wolves? Haven't seen it. And also YouTube chat, I need to get you guys up so I can see it. I'm also just generally noticing less people watching the stream right now than typical. That could be for two reasons, and I'm very intrigued to see what happens as we go forward. It could be A, because I'm not streamed for a month. That would be an important reason. Or B, that Payday interest is getting so low now that people don't even care to turn up for streams. Could also be both. It could absolutely be both. I'm not saying it's one or the other. I'm just always interested in the stats front as to what's going on there. So, let me just run you through very briefly what I want to do in this stream so you're aware. Wow, looking in the YouTube chat and seeing someone called Mummy Milkers. Okay. So, my thinking, and this is where my head's at right now. I'm thinking the best thing to do is to come back with a video for Payday 3, probably end of the week, and just surmise a couple of things that have happened. One thing being Starbreeze getting a new CEO. That was announced 2 days ago, was it, at this point? So I want to give my thoughts on that and read through the brief. And I haven't actually read through it properly yet. I've seen some quotes and seen some bits shared about it and seen people talking about it, but I've not actually gone on the website and read through front to back myself. We could do that on stream now if you guys are interested to. I'll get to that in a minute. So there's that. There is, obviously, the continued lack of mentioning of offline mode. It was supposed to be talked about in the coming weeks, and that was 2 months ago. So, what's going on there? There's also the April Fool's prank they did yesterday. Part of me really didn't want them to do one yesterday, because it's just a principle of, if you have time... no, sorry, it's not that principle. It's the one I'm seeing. A lot of people online are saying, if you have time to do an April Fool's prank, why don't you have time to do stuff for the game? But my problem is more 110 what? Oh wow, 110 watch streak on Twitch. Wow, War Hero, that's mad. That's cool. The issue I have is that they were able to successfully organize and release an April Fool's prank, but can't even talk about the game modes and features that players actually want from their game that is slowly dying. Like, that's what annoys me. It's not the fact that the prank exists, it's the fact that the prank exists, but things that should also have been talked about before that still haven't been. So it's like, offline mode? What's an offline mode? By the way, drill simulator. Like, I don't love that. That's my problem with that. I'm sure the effort that's gone into it is perfectly fine. I just personally haven't looked into it. Maybe we could look into that on stream too. I'm not bothered to look into it outside of stream. And I swear there was something else as well. Oh yeah, there was also the clip from Alme that I shared on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, which I don't think we should take seriously, but I do think it's interesting to talk about. He made a claim on stream saying that the skills rework had not been confirmed. They weren't doing a full skill overhaul, despite them already confirming in my interview with them last year that was happening, and also putting it into the roadmap. So that raised the question of, is the skill system still happening? Is the overhaul still happening? Has it been quietly canned and they just haven't said it, and Alme let slip by accident? I'm personally, before you panic, I'm of an opinion that Alme just fucked up on stream and said the wrong thing. I think he's probably forgotten they had announced it. You could, of course, make a case and say, how can you forget what they've announced when they've barely announced anything? And to that I would say, yeah, fucking fair enough. But I definitely think there is an issue with communication inside of Starbreeze. I think there's definitely a breakdown in the communication chain that is not properly being looked at. Or at least they haven't got the staff to properly investigate it, and I think that's leading to problems like this. So I don't personally think the skill system has been cancelled. Maybe something will come out to prove me otherwise, but I don't think that's happened. So I want to kind of cover a few things and basically do a news roundup of sorts. Just kind of bring everyone back up to speed, make sure everyone's aware of the different most notable things that have happened. Oh, and also, shit, of course, little guy G, Luke, has left Starbreeze. He's no longer working there. He also announced that yesterday, and it wasn't an April Fool's prank. So that's also, I guess, another piece of important news. I don't like talking about things involving co-workers and or friends as news. That feels odd, but like from an objective standpoint, that is news. So that also happened, if you don't know. Yesterday he announced that, which is a shame, mainly for Starbreeze's case, because the dude is fucking mega talented. That guy did the trailers for First World Bank and for the Jacket Character Pack. I think some of the mocap might have been done by some of the other staff members like Joachim, but like the actual main work on trailers, some music, things like that, Luke's been instrumental on both of those. And you can tell from the quality of them how much effort he put into it at the very least, if not anybody else. And that's not to say no one else did. I think they did. I've seen just from, like I said, being at the studio that people put a lot of work into this stuff. But Luke really made a big difference there. So I think that's a great loss for Starbreeze for him to no longer be working there. And I mean that wholeheartedly. So he also did the Year 1 Edition trailer, that too. Yes, I forgot that. Yeah. So he did a fantastic job. He did a fantastic job. So there's a few things I want to talk about. Now, I've realized I've been on the starting soon screen for a minute. Let's at least go to this screen. There's a giant bag full of Sonic figures here because I was buying a couple in a sale for cheap at Home Bargains in the UK, because I found a few that were £5 each, and I was like, I can afford that. My room is a mess. My room genuinely needs sorting. It's a fucking joke. I have a pile of stuff here that is absolutely disgraceful, that needs tidying, and I've had no time amidst my tutoring, which is a nice reason to not be able to sort it, but still, I need to get that. So, folks, I'm of a few minds here. While this is a Payday stream, I'm not entirely sure if we're going to play Payday 3 itself, or more so just talk about it. I haven't really decided. My thinking, first off, is it might be an idea to have a look at the CEO announcement. What do you guys think? I'm assuming a lot of you guys have read this, but would you be interested in me reading through and giving my 10 cents on that? 10 cents? 2 cents? 10 cents a fucking company! Would you like me to give my 2 cents on that? Is anyone particularly interested to see that? Because we could start with that. I'm thinking. Is it real? Yeah, let's do it. Let's start with that. Let me get my other computer monitor, switch back to my PC. Let's get the Starbreeze news page up. Here we go. Oh, I have opened the page. That's my mistake. I have opened it. I just haven't properly read it. So here we go. Let's bring this up here. Let's go full screen. Okay. All right. All righty-tighty. Reactions. There we are. Cool. Let's have a look. And let me just adjust the chat so that I can... oh, wait, it doesn't matter that I can't see it on there. As long as you can see it, that's fine. Okay. So let's have a little look and see what this post says. So like I said, what I think I will do is I will do a video on Friday that kind of sums up a few of these things, talks about a few of these different bits, and just give my thoughts. Just catch everyone up. And also it gives me a chance, if I miss anything or there's any opinions you guys have got that maybe I've not thought about or any angles, please do put them in the chat, because it'll help me make a bit better video on Friday. It also is a good way to kind of like pulse check and see how you all are feeling on things. Did you test the crossplay in Crime Boss? No, as I was talking about earlier, Math, since I've left the partner program, I've not really had a lot of motivation to play Crime Boss recently. I'm hoping that will change at some point soon. But yeah, I've not had a chance to test crossplay. And ironically, the crossplay came out while I was on my week away anyway, so I wasn't even able to test it. So I haven't got around to that yet. I will at some point, but it sounds like it's gone well for them, which is good. Anyway, so the new CEO, Adolf Christiansen. Listen, pronunciations of Swedish names is not my strong suit. I hope I've got that right. I think it's Adolf Christiansen, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, he's been appointed as the new CEO of Starbreeze. Now, one thing some people seem to have forgotten is Mats Yule was never CEO. He was acting CEO. His role in the company was CFO, which is the Chief Financial Officer. So he was never the full CEO. He was just the stand-in while they found a new one. Although he must have been the press. Actually, this is a good question. He must have been the just out of interest, let me look. Can I search? What if I just search Mats Yule? Will his name gave 0 results. That's fucking encouraging. I'm just wondering if I scroll back, if we'll find no results found. Yeah, I get it. You've got no results for Mats. I'm just wondering if we can find the date in which he was brought on board. Bingo. There we go. There we go. Starbreeze AB appoints a new interim CEO. And what was that dated? Ooh. Oh, there we go. May 15th, 2014. So Mats was the acting CEO for just shy of a year. So he wasn't ever the full CEO, but he was the acting CEO for just under a year. The last actual full CEO was Tobias Hergren. I've had a few people tell me that I've pronounced that wrong, but I mean, that was how he told me to pronounce it, so I'm going with that. He was the last main CEO until he stepped down. Seems from different impressions from different people's perspectives, whether it was he was encouraged to step down or whether he made the decision himself is whatever, and frankly at this point irrelevant. But since then we've not had a full CEO. So this is the first new CEO post Payday 3's release. So let's give a read of this and see what it says. Okay, the board of directors of Starbreeze have appointed Adolf Christiansen as the new CEO. He will assume his position on April 1st, 2025, so yesterday. He replaces the current interim CEO, Mats Yule, who will continue in his role as Chief Financial Officer of Starbreeze. Adolf has spent over 2 decades in the gaming industry and has held roles working with some of the world's most renowned gaming IPs, including FIFA, Battlefield, Apex, and Star Wars. Anyone noticing an EA pattern there? During his tenure at Electronic Arts, there you go, he served as International Commercial Senior Director, Global Head of Digital, and Global Strategic Franchise Director. Adolf holds a degree of Masters in Business Administration Finance, so more of a finance guy here. Okay. I joined Starbreeze with great enthusiasm for the company's current and future projects. So he wasn't currently working at Starbreeze. So has he moved straight over from EA to Starbreeze? Gee fucking whiz. Tony, you scared the shit out of me. Thank you for the 53 months. Actually, that's a point. I think someone somewhere had mentioned that he had a LinkedIn. Chris Jansen. Let's just have a quick peek at this. Is this the fella? I won't bring it up. There's no point in bringing it onto the page. But I will just very briefly look and see, because it should say in his career. Oh, wow. Okay, so he was working at EA until December 2023. He then took a gap year. And then he was a member of the board of directors for 2 different groups. One called Silver Fox and one called Thunderful Group. He finished with Silver Fox in February and with Thunderful in March. And now, as of April, he's full CEO of Starbreeze. So he stopped. There's been a year and a half between him stepping down from EA and coming on as Starbreeze's. Yeah, I have a Sonic Frontiers background in case that wasn't entirely obvious. You can see there. Yeah, before he came on as Starbreeze CEO. So basically a lot of EA before this. So, here's his quote. I joined Starbreeze with great enthusiasm for the company's current and future projects, not least the upcoming Dungeons & Dragons title. I look forward to continuing the work of expanding the Payday franchise further and building Starbreeze into a true multi-title studio, but most of all, I look forward to working closely with our talented teams and engaging with our passionate player community as we build the next chapter of Starbreeze together. Something's happening in the YouTube chat. I'm going to look in a moment. Or not. Oh, wow. Hello. The face... I can't see the name because I've not stretched the chat out. The Face of Danger. What a name. Oh, I'm going to get a ping for each one of these, aren't I? There's a lot of having oops. A lot of having oops going on. Let's mute the sound for a second. Thank you so much, Face of Danger, for the 10 gift memberships on YouTube. That is very, very lovely of you. I'm hoping to make use of the channel membership soon. One video I said I was going to do and didn't do a few weeks ago was a Sonic 06 video from the stream. That will hopefully go out in the next week or 2, and I will plan to make that early for members. I know it's not Payday, but it's something members can get early. So if you want to be a channel member on YouTube, consider hopping on there. But yeah, so I look forward to working closely with our talented teams and engaging with our passionate player communities as we build the next chapter of Starbreeze together. On behalf of the board... Oh, that's Jurgen. Okay, we can worry about that in a minute. So, 2 things. I've got a peg in my hand, a food peg. I don't know why. But 2 things to point out. First off, the first thing he leads with for current and future projects is Dungeons & Dragons. Not Payday 3, Dungeons & Dragons. Because of course he does, because that's the exact same as Mats Yule, so I'm not surprised for there to not be any change there. And also, I look forward to continuing the work of expanding the Payday franchise further and building Starbreeze into a true multi-title studio. Now, look... You all know I'm a very optimistic person. I see the good in a lot of things. I'm always trying to find the positives. Problem is, with this sentence, I see exactly what Mats Yule has been doing for the last 11 months in the new CEO. And listen, Adolf, you might be a lovely guy. I don't know you personally. I have no idea who you are beyond this announcement. So I don't want to speak anything out of turn towards him personally, much like I didn't for Mats or for any other members of Starbreeze. My criticism was always with their logic and their thinking rather than them as a person, any kind of attacks on their character, because I just don't want to do that. It's not what I'm about. But this very much seems in line with Mats Yule's dialogue, which is expanding the Payday franchise. So doing what they can with Payday as an IP, leveraging the IP and the power of that name as much as they can. But know how Payday 3 is not mentioned. It's not making Payday 3 the game that players want. It's not focusing on our most recent release, Payday 3. It's making sure that the IP is being used, that they're pushing the franchise further. Whether that be by putting it into fucking PUBG or whatever else they choose to do, it's seeming to me continuing to do anything they can with Payday that doesn't involve Payday 3. So I'm not suggesting some big ground shift is coming with this CEO, because it doesn't seem like it. And then again, building Starbreeze into a true multi-title studio. And I've made this argument before. There is nothing wrong with you wanting to make the company a multi-title studio. You're a game studio. You want to expand. That makes sense. The problem is, if you're expanding the studio at the cost of the IP that is the only reason the company's still around, and the only thing most of your audience, to be frank, give a shit about, it's not the best strategy. It just isn't. And yeah, I've been over the arguments already of like, yeah, the finances for Payday 3 are not it. It makes sense financially to pull a bit away from Payday 3. But as a company for the future, I think you're still better putting money in the game that's not doing so hot. Because you're taking a hell of a gamble and hoping that Project Baxter actually does well. Because if it doesn't, the company could very well be fucked. That is blunt and it's shitty, but it's true. And that's why I worry, because I just worry for the devs. I worry for the jobs of everyone in this fucking studio. I value this company so dearly and the people who work there. You all know, I know some of the developers personally. I talk to some of them personally. I'm friends with some of them. I care a lot about that. And yeah, sure, you could say that makes me a bit too involved, like emotionally, whatever. But I think you can more take it as the more important thing of me having even more of a reason to not want them to lose their fucking jobs. So the more things I see here that make me worry about that, the more stressed it makes me about this company. And that's why, partially, just talking about Payday makes my fucking blood boil sometimes. Because I'm like, it just scares me. It just scares me. But either way. So all I'm saying, so the one plus, if you can count it as a plus, is I don't see any things getting worse than when Mats was in charge. And again, that's nothing personal against him. It's just, do you know what I mean? I don't see it getting worse. But I don't have anything to pull from that statement making me feel better. And that's also pretty fucking bad. Hex in Development says, wait, I just realised if Mats was always meant to be a placeholder, why was he allowed to sack the entire French division? So, oh yeah, there's also, I knew there was something else I wanted to talk about. There's also a bit more information with regards to the French layoffs, which sounds like they're all but definitely happening now. And even more accusations that Mats was not giving a shit about them voicing their concerns. It was more bothered with them just voicing it in private channels where people couldn't see. Again, as always, take it with a grain of salt, because I need to look into the article and read it properly, but it sounded like it got pretty much solid from this point, so I will look into that as well. Maybe we could bring that article up too and have a look. But I think the thing with that, Hexen, is the interim CEO is someone who doesn't have a CEO position, but is able to make decisions in lieu of there being a CEO. So I don't know how much of a power difference there is between CEO and interim CEO. My thoughts, and this is just my armchair, like, theory type thing, so don't take this as gospel. My imagining would be that the interim CEO would require more things to be signed off by other executives for it to happen. I would imagine there'd need to be more of a group decision on things rather than it just being him making the calls on his own. That's what I would imagine. If someone asked me to just guess as to the difference between the power that a CEO and interim CEO has, there is a board of executives. There's a CEO, the CFO, the CCO, and the CMO. I'm making it up at this point possibly. But yeah, there's like several higher up people. So my wonder is if they had to all more decide as a group the things that Mats was putting forward or pushing himself by name. I don't know. Either way, Jürgen Goldner, the chairman of the board of Starbreeze, said, on behalf of the board, I want to welcome Adolf to Starbreeze. Is it Adolf or Adolf? I never know. I never know what the right way to pronounce it is. I mean, the only time I've heard Adolf is, I don't need to say it, but I've heard both of those names pronounced in that way, so I don't know what the right way to pronounce it is. If anyone's local to Germany and knows, tell me and I'll pronounce it the right way. But yeah, welcome Adolf to Starbreeze, and I look forward to a long and fruitful cooperation. I also want to take the opportunity to thank Mats Yule for his great contribution during his period as interim CEO. So yeah, so basically, for reading this, there is nothing more, there's nothing to reassure me, and nothing to make me feel worse. It's just kind of indifferent. You know? Kind of feels like that one calling card in the old Call of Duty game, same shit, different day. I don't feel like there's anything drastic changing there. I hope that Adolf can lead by example and show us something different, something better, but actions speak louder than words. We'll see. And also, yeah, Kretz just made a good point in the Twitch chat. This is a guy who spent 13 years working at EA, and from what someone said, maybe this was on his LinkedIn and I didn't see. Let me just have a peek. Wow, the flashbang when I open LinkedIn is insane. Can I force dark mode on this page? Because if I can, why haven't I? I can. I'm an idiot. Cool. What does it say under his... right. He was the senior director of commercial operations for 3 years. Then he was the senior director of digital and partnerships for 6 years. Then he was the senior director of global commercial strategy for 3 years. I'd heard someone mention somewhere that he was one of the spearheads on finance for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Oh, very, very, very interesting. Oh, very interesting. So his note for Senior Director of Digital and Partnerships, so the window where Star Wars Battlefront 2 is released, he leads by saying, in my role as a global digital lead, I held the responsibility of transitioning and grow over $2 billion in revenue from traditional channels to digital channels, which resulted in 10-point margin improvement. So basically, he was trying to get as much digital sales as possible. So yeah, I can understand people making the comparison that he possibly was one of the spearheads for the microtransaction shit with Battlefront 2. I see people saying, oh, you know, this means that we're going to get microtransactions in Payday 3 immediately. Listen. I don't personally agree with that. For one thing, that takes dev time, which I don't think Payday 3 has anymore. And for another, it takes dev time, it takes resources. If they got the cosmetics to make the time to do this shit, I don't know. They haven't even got the time to add like things like glasses as masks, which you would hope wouldn't take super long. They haven't got the time and resources to do that, so they're not going to have the time and resources to make a microtransaction store. I can never say microtransaction quickly. So I don't think that's an immediate problem. What I think is the experience in finance and that financial knowledge, which is the same kind of thing that Matt's had, means he's going to have very similar outlooks to Matt's, is my assumption. I think that's my concern there. That's where I'm worried. Oh yeah, also someone's made a point about Adolf being a Icelandic name. Possibly. I realised also the Adolf I mentioned was Austrian. He wasn't even German. So yeah, I don't know why. Sorry, that's my my UK lack of EU knowledge coming in there. My apologies. So yeah, like I said, I'm not ringing any alarm bells here reading this. I'm not like, holy shit, we're fucked. And I don't think that looking at like his history with Star Wars Battlefront 2 means you can directly apply that to Payday 3. I think that just means he's got a very similar attitude to Matt's, and having seen what Matt's has done with the company so far, I just think it's going to be more of the same. You know, I think it's going to be same shit, different day. That's my takeaway from this, honestly. I wish I had a more positive one, but sadly I don't. Karik says, I posed the question, what's the difference between microtransaction masks and DLC outfit packs that come with new heists in the later years of Payday 2? So, my problem, so let me answer your question with something slightly unrelated first. My issue was never with them doing a microtransaction store in concept. My issue was with them trying to monetize trying to encourage two different ways of monetization. The gaming industry as a whole has often chose one or the other. For a very brief period of time, Call of Duty did both, until they very quickly shifted into just going for the microtransaction route. They realized that was the way to go and stopped doing DLC. The very common convention now with games that release as live services is you get free content updates and microtransaction stores. And I think personally, hot take here, if it's cosmetic, I prefer the microtransaction model. Because I think, especially in today's times, if you're only missing out on cosmetic stuff and the actual new gameplay stuff you're getting is all free, I think as a general consumer who can't afford to put more money into games, that's a win. I think the problem you have is if the things that are microtransactions are not cosmetic, or if trying to earn things takes too much time or you can't do it at all. You know, it should be that it's like pay to skip time rather than pay to get exclusive things. If it's like game bonuses or if it's cosmetics, it's things you miss out on that you wouldn't miss overall, or there are decent free options to compensate. Payday, however, was like, hey, we're going to stick to the old DLC model, so we're going to charge you for our updates, but also microtransactions. And to me, that's when it's overbloated. That's the problem. That's when it's stuffed with so much monetization that if you are a free player, you're barely getting anything. And that is an issue. And in this market, that is a problem. That is a huge problem. I couldn't name a game right now off the top of my head that is doing both those things at the same time. Maybe there's some I'm forgetting about, but I honestly could not tell you. So my attitude was, if you want to do the microtransactions, fine, do that instead of DLC. Don't do both. And based on the reaction to microtransactions, they just binned on that and went full force on DLC. And mainly because they'd already locked in on it and promised the gold edition anyway. They couldn't have changed that even if they wanted to. So yeah, I think in another world, I think they would have been doing they would have done better had they just done MTX, but they didn't. And so here we are. In other words, you do not want double dipping. Exactly. I think as soon as you add two monetization options, I think it's just too much. And I think it's drowning to the average player. Fortnite does what Fortnite did so well, I think, because it was the first one to really push in a proper full mainstream market the microtransaction stuff, where it was just cosmetic. It was emotes, it was skins, it was things you don't need to pay to make the experience better, but if you want, and you're putting the time in, you want to buy these things, you can. And that's why I do spend money on Fortnite. Like, I've been a subscriber to Crew for a while. I've mentioned this before a few times where I've thought I should cancel it based on my low money, but it's 10 quid a month. I play the game a lot, and I actually feel like I get a lot out of that membership. So I'm quite happy with that. I don't mind that. So if I actually looked at how much money I'd spent on Fortnite over the years, it'd probably be quite a lot. But I'm quite happy with that because I enjoy playing the game and getting stuff out of it. Whereas if Fortnite had gone, here's these, and we're also going to be charging for the next Battle Royale season, I'd have been like, what the fuck are we doing here, guys? Like, we're pushing it. We're pushing it a bit here. You know what I mean? Like, that's too much. There's a certain amount of monetization that I think is right, and I think Starbreeze trying to do both was the problem. Creek saying, right, so free heists and microtransaction cosmetics. I agree. I have over 1,200 hours in BO6. All new weapons, all maps, zombies, ornaments and such. I haven't bought any cosmetics at all. I got this all for free because they can be free thanks to microtransactions. Exactly. Because that's the thing with microtransactions. A lot of people will spend money on them, but not everyone will. And you won't feel FOMO if you don't spend money on them, unless it's like certain events where it's like, oh, you get this Squid Game thing or some shit. Then you get FOMO, and that I'm not the biggest fan of. And Call of Duty definitely is a villain for that, in the sense of overcharging for event passes and things like that, and charging a lot of money for these event things. Call of Duty is no saint. I really do not believe that at all. I still think Fortnite's monetization, I think, has been pretty strong. Some things releasing are a bit more expensive than they probably could be, but Call of Duty is a big, big guilty part of that. We're going off on a big side tangent here, but either way. Hex on YouTube says, there's no way Adolf will be able to rush microtransactions. Making every one of your clients hate you is a bad idea. Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, Max's decisions kept making people hate Starbreeze management, and he didn't stop. So, honestly, at this point, either I think Starbreeze management just doesn't give a shit about what the community thinks, or they're genuinely just not checking and thinking that we think it's okay. But you genuinely cannot tell me that they don't at least have some inkling of what's going on right now. And not least of all, and this is not to make myself the center of the problem, but genuinely, to me, as an executive, if I found out partners were leaving the program, I'd be looking into why. And I cannot seriously believe that they found out that Mario and Atoppa and I have both left the program and not at least looked into why that we'd done that, had they not already been in tune with it. So my personal opinion is they know we don't like the decisions, and they're ignoring them because they don't give a shit. They've got investors to please, board members to please, and they just focus on them and don't care about the players. And if that's the case, that's fucking shitty. That's really shitty. But what can you do? You know what I mean? $6 for shoes in Fortnite. Yeah, stuff like that. Like, I will say the Kicks cosmetics, I don't like those. I do not like those. I will put that on record. I think they're fucking stupid. And I've completely avoided those. I'm not interested in that at all. If they had Converse, maybe I'll buy a pair. I'll say that much. I'm a big Converse enjoyer. But like, in terms of that system generally, I don't like it. That does feel a bit overly monetized there. I will agree with you on that, Mommy Milkers. Can't believe I'm saying that name out loud. But yeah. So all that said and done, I'm not more concerned now, having read the new CEO thing, than I was before. Now, the next thing is the 80 level, oh my god, flashbangs. The 80 level Payday 3 article, the most recent one. Let me find it. Here it is. 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 Oh, there's two. There's two. Oh, wow. Okay. Righty-ho. So, first one is this one. Oh, here we go. I can just open it like this. Here we are. Because it's reported by Theodore Mackenzie. So we have this article, and I'm just going to scroll through his history to find the other one. Walter White Simulator schedule become... Oh, I've seen mention of this. Maybe I need to look into this. It seems like it's the next, like, big meme trendy game. Where is the... Oh, where is the other Payday article? Wow, Theodore puts a lot of articles out. I mean, he is like the head of content, so I can't really say I'm surprised by that, but just looking through, I'm like, shit. Dude is a busy man. I respect it. Fuck, I honestly thought I'd find this quicker. I honestly thought I would find this quicker. This, there we go. There we go. There it is. Okay. All right. Let's look over these articles, because this one came out, this was while I had COVID. Yes, it was. So I was not really looking at much shit then. He tagged me in a tweet and had a bit of a look at it and shared it, but I didn't fully read the article. So let's have a look and see. So, heading, Payday creator Starbreeze lays off the entire French team. Starbreeze management's approach to handling the termination seems to be violating several French labour laws. Over the past couple of months, we've been extensively covering the silent layoffs taking place at Starbreeze, the developer of the Payday franchise, reporting on the company quietly firing around 50% of its entire workforce behind closed doors, and warning about their plans to terminate the French division. A division that, according to our sources within Starbreeze, plays a crucial role in the technical side of the production pipeline and is largely responsible for patches and DLCs in the company's games. Unfortunately, it seems Starbreeze management has now officially started the terminations with an anonymous Starbreeze employee. Okay, alright, so again, it's an anonymous employee, so I have to say the usual, take with a grain of salt, even though this is going to seem very much like it's happening. Who proved to be part of the team by sharing a wealth of screenshots of the company's internal Slack channels, revealing to 80 level that it was announced in the company last week, so this is about 3 weeks ago, that more than half the French employees are being dismissed at the end of March. Fuck, so they're gone. while the remaining ones are set to be let go by June. As mentioned by the employee, the official reason provided by Starbreeze higher-ups appears to be layoffs were necessary for economic reasons. However, the exact nature of these reasons hasn't been disclosed to those affected. Now, there is a quote here. What is this? It remains undisclosed. All right, this is an article we've looked at previously. Okay, cool. One French developer, according to the screenshots provided to us by the anonymous worker, was particularly dissatisfied with the management's handling of the situation, sharing a lengthy statement on Crew, Starbreeze's Slack chat that seems to include the company's entire workforce of over 230 members, accusing the executives of breaking several French labour laws. And according to this message, the entire French team wasn't invited to an all-hands meeting on March 13th, an action that, in the view of the French developer, that violates articles L12221, L11321, and L12334 of France's Code du Travail. Travail being work, right? I think. Code of work. The developer noted that the excluding employees who are still under contract and subject to dismissal procedures from a company-wide meeting discussing the company's future strategy, organizational structure, and projects constitutes a direct violation of these obligations. Fuck. So they're basically saying that they already told these people they were being laid off, and then before they actually ended their contracts, just went, oh, by the way, these meetings don't concern you, fuck off. Not in that same wording, but that's what it's coming across as. Here's an excerpt for the message in question. Since this meeting covers topics that directly impact ongoing projects and potential reclassification opportunities, excluding us confirms that no sincere reclassification effort is being made in clear violation of one of the articles. I formally ask, what is the legal justification for this exclusion? Here we go. Everyone's favourite Starbreeze interim CEO, Matt Yule, shared a statement similar to the one we've seen before, completely avoiding the matter and instead expressing concern about the topic being discussed openly in the Crew channel for everyone to see. Of fucking course he did. Again, take it with a grain of salt. I say this every time because if for any reason something here has been faked, I wouldn't want it to come back and look like I've assumed it was completely true and it ended up not being true. Let's be fair, 99.9% true, likely true here. Let's be fair here. But keep that in mind. Always have the grain of salt. But his response was, and we quote, I'm available to clarify via phone or Slack email if there are any legal concerns regarding my decision on who to invite to an internal meeting. Our internal Slack channel Crew is not the appropriate way to have this kind of discussion. This discussion ends here. Thanks. Motherfucker spoke like it was a fucking Skyrim boss. And I don't mean him like a motherfucker. That's a general term. I'm not calling him one. Made that clear. Made that very, very clear here. That is just random speak here. That's clear. So bro literally said this discussion ends here acting like a fucking Skyrim boss. That's insane. That is insane. I cannot believe that. That's mad. If that is accurate, that is so out of order. That is so out of order. Oh my god. Mats, come on, man. Come on. You cannot seriously be like this. I really hope that this is... I honestly, like, as bad as I hope this is made up. Because I genuinely don't want to live in a world where that is actually the way he chose to respond. Hey, you're violating labour laws. This is a full Crew meeting. We should be a part of it. You shouldn't be making this complaint here. Do it where people can't see. Oh God. Do you see now why I have no motivation to talk about Payday? Do you see now? Do you see? Oh my God. Mats, I've said already, nothing against you personally, especially like I said, I really am concerned that me saying motherfucker is going to be taken as me calling him that. Genuinely wasn't. I don't think I need to worry about that, but I'm just putting out there, anxiety be anxiety, you are not one. I'm not calling you that. That was a general term of phrase. But man, you're not helping yourself there. I mean, it's not even the interim CEO anymore, but for goodness sake, you're not making yourself or the company look good if that's the way you respond to people. Anyway, there's more, so here we go. The French developer who wrote the original message responded as such, it's the perfect and most appropriate medium to do clarifications considering you owe us and the entire company an explanation. If you want to be fully transparent, I can't think of a better medium. Well fucking said. Being fully transparent, as we already know, is not Starbreeze's highest priority, and after this conversation, the Slack account of the French employee was simply deactivated, even though they hadn't been laid off yet. What? Once again highlighting the major divide between Starbreeze's higher-ups and developers. We contacted the employee to learn more about the situation and will update the report if we receive a response. So you're telling me they fucking shut his account down after he talked back? Oh my god. Can you tell I didn't read this full article because I was ill? I completely forgot to go back and actually read this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I stand by Cret. I'm not saying anything personally against the guy. I refuse to go to character attacks. I don't think I wouldn't want to wish that on anybody. What I will say is that the decision-making he has done here, if this is all accurate, is the most deplorable shit I've ever fucking seen. It's out of order. It's absolutely out of order. Oh my god. And I probably don't even need to make the thing of showing respect. Some people don't care about showing respect to executives. I just personally have a stance that, you know, everybody's human, and I want to treat everyone with a basic level of decency. You know, unless you're going around, like, fucking murdering people or committing horrid acts of fucking abuse and shit, I will give you that level of basic decency. Although the way he is behaving right now is fucking stretching that, but I really do. I don't want to say anything personal against him. I really don't. Especially because, as I've already said, if there's any reason that this is wrong, I would hate to think that I'd said anything out of turn and it was based on foundless facts. I really wouldn't. I would never want to be that person. So, Mats, if you happen to watch this, I'm talking to you directly now. Please, like, you're not even the acting CEO anymore, but you've got to realize that your entire community is telling you this is not the way to be. I realize you've got shareholders and board members to please, but at some point you've got to think about the players, people who are going to spend the money on your games, people who are going to try and support this company despite all the mistakes it's made. And at some point you've got to realize that this stuff will get out, people will see it, and people will make their own informed decisions. I don't believe in my heart of hearts that you're a bad person. I really don't. But the actions you're showing here are that of a bad person, and I think that that is concerning enough. And I think that is where I would sit and go, that's a point for self-reflection. I genuinely think that is a point for self-reflection. But yeah, he has stepped down now, so I think that's important to note. He is no longer the acting CEO, but he's still a CFO. He still holds one of the highest positions in the company, so, you know, he still has leverage. I do firmly believe that. And the same thing applies to Adolf now. If any of the Starbreeze executives are watching this stream, I have no idea if they are. I tagged Payday in on this stream. I want the thing you take from this to be that I just want you guys to realize that we are seeing what you're doing, and we just want the company to be okay. We want Payday to be okay. And I can't name a single decision I have seen in the last 6 months that shows me the right things are happening. And that it's just not a thing I would ever have said about Starbreeze 5-6 years ago when Mikhail was CEO. Hell, even when Tobias was CEO for Payday 2's run, I mean, there was some mistakes, update 237 being a big one. But, like, there was never a point where I went, fuck, the last 6 months have just been shit after shit after shit after shit after shit. And that's where we're at now. I think, from all intents and purposes, from the outside perspective, we are watching a company disintegrate from the inside. And they are hoping that all this stuff, all the problems they've got, all the issues that are going on right now, they'll all be solved if Baxter does well. That is very clearly what they want to happen here. They want Project Baxter to do well, and if it does, all this will be worth it. But the problem is, if they don't sell Project Baxter well, if Project Baxter flops, which, let me be objective here, Raid World War 2, flop. Overkill's The Walking Dead, flop. Payday 3, critical flop, commercial, long-term, flop. Your last 3 games have not done well. What research, what evidence, what serious fact have you got to prove that a non-Payday game, your next title, can do any better than what those last 3 did? You know what I mean? This is what I say. Like, if financially it makes sense that you're moving on from Payday 3 because it's not generating a profit, sure. But if you're moving on to something that isn't going to make much of a difference, you may as well stick with Payday 3 and actually make it the game players wanted it to be from the get-go. I've said before on record, Payday 3 should have been the easiest sequel to make in history. You had 10 years of updates of good and bad to learn from. Content creators who are more than willing to make shit tons of videos about the good and bad of the game. I've said this before, I literally made a video that was, why is Payday 2 still popular? And I'm pretty sure half the shit I made in that video was not in Payday 3. Doesn't mean they have to base it off my opinions, of course, but that's an example of people talking about the good things. And there's comment sections. That video has well over 250,000 views. It's got way more than that, I think, now. So just look at the comment section. Look at what people voted for, upvoted. Look at that shit. That will tell you too. You know, that should have been an easy sequel to make, and it wasn't. And now they're like, oh, the Dungeons & Dragons game, we got Wizards of the Coast money. I bet you part of the thinking is, because Baldur's Gate 3 did so well, they're like, oh, people will play any D&D thing. That's not how it works. I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3 because it was Dungeons & Dragons. I played Baldur's Gate 3 because it was a fucking phenomenal game. Like, I have not made much effort to go into anything D&D afterwards, and I probably won't again. I like Baldur's Gate 3 for what it does. It's just that it happens to work within the D&D framework. You know what I mean? It's just odd. It's just odd. Of course, that means I have some interest in Baxter. I've said this already, and I will definitely check it out when it comes out. But I like to say I'm excited for it? That's pushing it. It's pushing it. Oh, I don't know. Deep Silver has removed Payday 3 from their web. Oh, fuck. Have they actually? Is that like a recent news thing? Because that's another thing. That's another thing I wanted to touch on, which is we haven't heard the consequence that apply on Starbreeze agreement. Oh, shit. Let's pause for a second, look at this. This could be important. This could be very, very important. So you're saying, what, do they mention their games? Oh. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Oh, check under games? Okay. Well, I mean, the banner's still there, so that suggests that it's still there. Okay. Right, so I don't see anything. Okay. Right, so newest. So if we sort by newest. It is just not there. And was it there before? Was it there before? Wasn't the plan deal extended to 2027? Not that I'm aware of. I think I saw someone tweet or mention that it had been extended by 18 months, but I think that was an April Fool's joke. It was under games before. Shit. 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 Let's try something. Let's try something. Someone's got to have taken a snapshot of this page. Oh, beautiful. Fantastic. Okay. February 4th. Let's have a look what it was like 2 months ago. If I see Payday 3 there, and we've got serious evidence, then oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let's see. Okay. Consents. Shit. The page is broken. Oh, bollocks, 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 bollocks. Function. Please function. Let me refresh. Not the cookie warning be the thing that breaks it. Come off it. There we go. Allow all cookies. Okay. This isn't working. This is not working. Let's try the last snapshot. It's not my internet, is it? No, it's not. It's just fucking struggling to load. The Wayback Machine can't handle the weight of deep silver, apparently. Come on. Please. Come on. Rare Payday 3 stream. Well, it's more that I haven't streamed in nearly a month. 0. Appreciate you being here, though. Oh, come on. Plaid is not marked as publisher on Steam. Can't remember if it ever was. It was marked as Deep Silver on Steam. Oh, that's a good point. What about the Steam page? Okay, Steam. I'll just go on Crime Boss Rocket City, then I can pull up Payday. Let's see. Store. Let's have a peek. Let's have a peek. Let's have a peek. Let's have a peek. Is there no members channel in the Discord? There isn't. There used to be one. But it was kind of a thing of like paying to talk in a specific channel. It was quite quiet and didn't think it was really worth it. If that's something that you would like me to do, man, I can do it. Let me know. No, so it still says published by Deep Silver on here. So maybe there's the beginnings of the potential that Plan have pulled Payday 3 and they've terminated the agreement, but there's no real way to know for sure. Also, fuck, it's just such a shame to see that they were mostly positive and they've just trumped right the way back down again. Oh, look at that. Oh, War Hero. Hello. Not recommended by your friend. And it's a quote from GTA San Andreas. But although it is, we can shit on you from such a height. I mean, come on. Listen, if you get a quote San Andreas, I'm your guy. We can shit on you from such a height, you'll think, God, it was... I don't even know if I can read that out as someone who is at least a little bit religious. But that quote is fucking hilarious, man. Oh, my God. Oh, boy. Oh, let's see. Look at that. Here's a recommended review in September before it all went wrong again. Crazy times. Kind of butt cheeks. Wow, there's a lot of just buy Payday 2. Honestly, I agree. Yeah, see, the thing is, the game's at a point now where if you check it out, you're gonna have some fun with it. For anyone who's played it a little bit though, or is waiting for the next update, that's when you start to see the cracks. That was kind of the problem when Payday 3 first came out, was that like a lot of those issues you didn't see until you got into it more. That was one thing I did refute when people gave the partnership for over promoting Payday 3 in the preview build. Like, yeah, definitely we were too positive. I've been over all that, but there was an element of some of the big issues of Payday 3 you didn't notice until you played it for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, 10 hours. You know what I mean? And I think that issue is still prevalent now. It's not necessarily noticing all the issues of the game, but it's that after a little while you start to realize that nothing's really coming and go, okay, well, what's coming next? You know? The first few hours are really fun, but after that, you start to question things. Anyway, so there's more stuff here. Let's finish this article off. Being fully transparent, as we know, is not Starbreeze's highest priority. And after this conversation, the Slack account, the French employee, was simply deactivated. Yep. As for layoffs themselves, previous screenshots seen by 80 Level revealed that Starbreeze's French branch employed 23 people by mid-February. So it's reasonable to assume that most, if not all, of those 23 are likely to be made redundant come July. At this time, it's unclear who'll be fired in June, who'll be let go by the end of this month, and who, if anyone, would be willing to relocate to Sweden, which appears to be the entire point of this exercise, to consolidate in Starbreeze's home country while closing divisions abroad. And in their new studio, too, because they've moved office, haven't they? 80 Level has invited Starbreeze executives for an interview to discuss the layoffs and the lack of transparency, so stay tuned for updates. Haha! Like they'll fucking reply to you. Let's be real here. And then there's one more article published by Theodore on the 31st of March, so 2 days ago. Payday creator Starbreeze names new CEO the same day it shuts down French office. And I've got to be real with you, this has got to be fucking intentional. And I think Theodore posted the same thing on Twitter. I'm pretty sure he notes that it might have been intentional, and I think honestly there's a decent chance. Because this is what I've said. We've got to a point now where out of the two possibilities of Starbreeze genuinely not realizing that everyone is thinking they're doing stupid things, or them knowing they're doing stupid things and not giving a shit, the latter has to be more true the more time that goes by, and moves like this just show it more to me. Is the Armor 2.0 update out? Nope. That was coming in Q1 this year, guys, by the way, so it came out 2 days ago. You wouldn't know because the update didn't actually release for the game, but it's coming. Sarcasm is often the best way to deal with these things at this point, I'll be honest. You were also under the impression you were playing a release minus 8 months build. You said they were released, but figured they would be fixed in September, which apparently they were. Yeah, thank you, Face of Danger. Look at that. I got a guy giving me 10 memberships and backing me up. I like you. I like you. Thank you for that support. I appreciate it. But no, it is a good point. We were told it was an April build and a lot of things would change before September. And fucking barely anything changed. The main menu looked almost no different between the April build and that launch. It's crazy. Fucking crazy, man. Anyway, following financial underperformance in several tumultuous months, which it laid off around 50 employees, including multiple project backs to developers, Payday developer Starbreeze continues its internal restructuring by appointing Adolf Christensen as the studio's new chief executive officer effective April 1st. Revealed in the studio's official statement, the new CEO joined the team after spending 13 years at EA. Yep. Also, oh no, it is also worth noticing that Matt Seale, the infamous interim CEO known for laying off developers left and right and being more concerned about developers using proper channels in Starbreeze's Slack chat than the livelihood of his employees, was not ousted from the company and will continue serving as Starbreeze's chief financial officer. Now, this is interesting, because I had a bit of an exchange on Twitter with Theodore about this very thing. So let me pull up, as cursed an idea as this is, let me pull up my Twitter. Because I do want to show you this chat, because I think I made some points that I actually do want to replicate here. I was quite interested by Theodore's points here, because he suggested that he expected Mats would be ousted for the decisions that he's made. But I made the counterpoint of, why would he be ousted? Because quite clearly, the decisions he's made line up with how the other executives are thinking anyway. There's got to be multiple people making these decisions at the same time. So, I don't know. Anyway, I've got to scroll through. I tweet a lot of shit, man. Follow me on Twitter, please. I greatly appreciate it. You can see there's a lot of Star Wars themed things here. And Sonic. Oh, come on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I just thought this was interesting and I thought I'd share it. This is nothing against Theodore. Like, legit. I respect the guy immensely. Yeah, so Noli shared the new Starbreeze, Braver Man Than I bookmarked it. It could have just gone to bookmarks. I bookmarked so much shit and never checked my bookmarks tab. Funny how the announcement neglected to mention the majority of French office also in their jobs on the same day. And I said, and I stand by, assuming Starbreeze will ever talk about what matters is equivalent to assuming the sky will suddenly turn purple and rain will instead travel upwards. But here we go. Starbreeze's management, not the entire staff, which I agree, I should have said that in the initial tweet and did clarify it underneath. The moment Christensen's appointment was announced internally, some of the devs bombarded my DMs to highlight how absolutely ridiculous it was to make that announcement on the same day most of the French team was set to lose their jobs. One employee mentioned that they think it was done deliberately to overshadow the closure of the French office and, quote, start fresh with a new CEO, unquote, so I'll go with that theory. And the worst part is, Mats wasn't even ousted, definitely feels like Project Baxter is doomed. And as I said here, why would Mats be ousted? The decisions can't come solely from him. Everything happening has got to be continuing signed off by all relevant people at the top. And he said, I don't know, I just thought it would be the right thing to do considering Starbreeze reached the state that it's in right now while he was in charge. And I said here, and I stand by it, unfortunately, I stopped expecting the right thing of the company when that Q3 report dropped. It's like such a fucking, like, tragedy, what's happening here. So, if anything, I respect Theodore for thinking there would be enough of a moral angle there for there to be some repercussions from the way that Mats has supposedly treated his staff. But, like, maybe I'm just too jaded now by the way it's been over the last 6 months, but I just never saw that happening. I just never saw that happening at all. He quotes the post, which we've already read. The part Starbreeze's official statement failed to mention, however, is that the appointment of the new CEO takes place on the same day the majority of the French offices losing their jobs following Starbreeze's decision to shut down the branch entirely. Previously, several Starbreeze employees from both the French and Stockholm offices told 80 Level that it was announced within the company in mid-March that more than half the French employees would be dismissed by the end of March, while the remaining staff set to be let go by June, which violates the articles we talked about already. From what we've learned, the French division played a crucial role. We've read this bit already. Yeah, this is all from the same, like the last article. It's just reinforcing the points. But let me get your input, chat. A very simple question, yes or no. Do you think that they specifically timed the announcement of this new CEO to directly clash and or override with the day that a lot of these French staff were being laid off? Do you think that that was intentional? I want to know what you think. Forget what I've said. Genuinely forget what I've said. But what do you think? I'm really intrigued to know everyone's thoughts. Hello, Nico, in the chat there. Very nice to see you, buddy. They skipped Armor 2.0 and decided Armor 3.0 was more important. Fuck, I hope that's not the case. I really hope it's not the case. And also, hello, Vida. Nice to see you again. Yeah, it seems like a majority of people are saying, yes, they think it was intentional. Yeah. I think the only... Aided on YouTube. I think the only intentional timing was doing it around April 1st. Yeah, everything I feel like I read with Starbreeze feels like a fucking April Fool's prank at this point. Evil Amy says for sure. First time chat, welcome to the stream. Or welcome to the chat at the very least. Nice to see you. Hard to say because changing CEO doesn't exactly seem like good news either. Yeah, I think I can see Maki, is that how I say your name? I think the new CEO is good for Starbreeze. Too bad Payday 3 is doomed anyway. You can't blame the new guy for Payday 3 stuff, but hopefully you can save the company. Exactly, like, none of the previous decisions I would blame on him. He's literally joined Starbreeze as the CEO. He was not previously on the board at all. He is coming into CEO and immediately taking the top spot. So any previous decisions are not down to him. They're down to Matt's and or any people at that executive level. So yeah, like I've already said, actions speak louder than words, and I will be very intrigued to see the actions that come from Adolf Christensen over the next insert period of time. I'm intrigued. I think genuinely, I'll be honest with you now. I don't know if I've said this already, but I'm going to be completely blunt. I've said this in the Discord server, and it depresses me to say this, but with the way that Starbreeze is going, I genuinely will not be surprised if Payday 3 development is shut down by the end of 2025. I honestly can see a timeline where the game is officially declared end of life before the end of the year. Because as far as I'm concerned, we have got a live service game that the last update was a DLC for Jacket in February. We've had no word in over a month on when the next update is going to be, other than it containing an armor system. No word on new content, no word on the offline mode they promised over a year ago and have made absolutely no effort to deliver on past that solo mode beta that still says beta when you play it nearly a year on. Like, there are so many reasons right now that show that not enough is happening behind closed doors, and not for a second is that the fault of the developers. Make no mistake. The developers, as I've always said, are doing the best they can in a bad to what is now shitty situation. The problem is that if they're being choked from the top by the executives, there's not much they can do. And I think we're watching the game slowly have the life drained out of it because it's being choked away from it, because the developers are only able to do what they can based on the staff and funding they're given, and they're not being given enough of either of them. The silence is deafening. It really is, Noel. It really is. Vida says, I'm very indifferent, especially when they still keep saying Payday franchise instead of Payday 3. Exactly, Vida. This is the thing I made a point of earlier, which is that, just like Matt's, they're talking about the Payday IP. They're talking about the brand. They're talking about the leveraging the name of Payday. They are not talking about the most recent game release and the thing that should matter most to Payday fans. And I think that speaks volumes. And that's why I stand by, as I said, the CEO doesn't seem to be any worse for Payday 3, but it seems like he's got very, very similar plans and intentions as Matt's. And considering Matt's was the chief financial officer, and the new CEO has a lot of experience in financing, specifically in the games industry, you've got two people with very similar experience, possibly making very similar decisions, possibly. Actions speak louder than words, though. I'm very much willing to wait and see how Adolf's decision-making goes for the future of Starbreeze, but I just hope we don't get worse than Matt's. And again, I've said this a million times. I think it's my anxiety speaking. I don't want Matt's to watch this and think that I'm saying that him as a person, like he's evil or something. And maybe you might think that personally, but like I've said already, for me, I don't want to be that judge of character. I don't want to say, you're an arsehole. You've done something really shitty. I don't like you as a person. All I'm saying is, every decision he's made in the context of Starbreeze, I think has been an absolute travesty. It's been disrespectful. It's been a joke, and not in the funny way. And I think the guy either didn't care what the audience thought, or just has a severe disconnect with what the audience is saying. You know, yeah, that's exactly Gilby. It's a lack of asking, is this good for the player? You know? So as I've said a million times, any of the executives, if you're watching this and getting annoyed or uncomfortable with what I'm saying, bear in mind, all I'm talking about are the decisions that you've made. Decisions that you've made that have got out publicly that a lot of us are agreeing with here. I don't, you know, you often see people occasionally pop up in stream chats and disagree with points, and maybe the chat will just go, you're fucking stupid, shut up. It does happen sometimes, that's just the way that the internet is. But I will say, an interesting point to make is, I can't remember the last time I saw someone come in here and say, actually, I think you're overblowing it. Actually, I think the CEO isn't that bad, or the decisions aren't that bad. And I think that should speak volumes. That's all I'm going to say. So, either way. Oh, anyway, there you go. There you go. I like someone mentioning Bo Anderson. That's the thing. Bo Anderson, I think, was responsible for a lot of the mistakes with Starbreeze leading up to its reconstruction. Doesn't mean I don't know the guy personally. Like, I've heard there was drama between him and his brother Ulf. That's between them. Like family drama is family drama for that very reason. I would not want to speak on that personally. That's between those two. At least no more that's been publicly shared. But his decision making, I fully disagree with. I think Bo did a lot of very, very bad fucking things. That dude did not seem to be a very good influence on anything that he touched with the Starbreeze. He made some good decisions, sure, but he made quite a few bad decisions. Thinking Starbreeze was appropriate for VR was certainly a choice. Even if a lot of the market was heading in that direction, the way in which he went full send into that was very questionable. But there were a lot of things, you know? I still think back to that letter that he sent when he stepped down as CEO in 2017, 2018, and part of the email was like, you know, I'm willing to commit every day, every hour of my life, every waking hour to being a game developer, but you guys aren't. So I guess I'm the problem. I guess it has to be, it's my fault that I assumed you guys would care as much as me. Basically saying you shouldn't have your own free life, which no. As someone who trained to be a teacher, your work consuming your entire day every day, it's fucking debilitating. It makes you depressed. Source, I've been there. So, no, you can't fucking expect that of your developers. It's a fucking joke. So, yeah, I just... If in an alternate timeline, I would have loved... I mean, for nothing else, I would have just fucking loved for Mikhail Nermark to still be around. I can't believe that guy passed at such a... He was only in his 50s, I think, passing to cancer. It's just horrific. But genuinely, that man... The work he did to bring Starbreeze back and focusing on Payday 3 and doing what the company was right for the players... doing what was right in the mind of the players. Like, I just wish I knew how things went with him. You know? The work he put in, and it does make me sad, because he put in all that work, and the only reason he stepped down, as far as I'm aware, is because he got cancer. That's never been publicly confirmed. It's just that he stepped down citing personal reasons, and then in about a year he passed away. So that's more of a putting two and two together. And I wonder, had he still been around, what would have happened to the company? If different people had been in charge and different decisions had been made, we probably wouldn't be having these conversations. Theodore would be making articles on very different game companies, you know? Or just not Starbreeze. Oh, man. Man. So, was there anything else to catch up on? Just trying to think. Oh, yeah, the Almir thing. Let's just go over this. Let's just go over this very briefly. Like I said, I do not think this is worth being concerned over, but I do just want to talk it over, because it was relevant, it came up, and I think it's just important to just kind of cover it very briefly. I should have just left my Twitter up, that would have been a good idea. Now I've got to try and find the bug of them. Oh, I forget the media grade sorted like this. This makes it a little bit easier. Where is the video? Fucking hell, this is a while ago I posted. I didn't think it was this long ago. It was not this long ago. It was a video. Here it is. Got it. Found it. Here we go. So this is a quote from a live stream he did about 2 weeks ago. I'll just let it play first. Let's whack it to full volume.
Henry Trerise says, Almir, are there plans to make the skills more impactful as they were in Payday 2? I find myself reinstalling Payday 2 instead of 3, mainly for this reason. A skill overhaul like 2 had would be amazing. I subscribe to that comment, Henry Trerise, 100%. I can say there are currently no confirmed plans to do a massive skill overhaul. We would need to get back to you on that topic. The latest major system change that we have communicated is the upcoming Armor 2.0 change. Other than that, we have communicated nothing else for the time being. Henry,
so I said this already, but like this was tweeted when a skill rework was already confirmed and put in the roadmap. As I've said, and I put it, you can see it here, I think he's just got a little bit confused and forgot they have announced that. And Kareek just made a point here. So you made a comment earlier about Almir saying, how can you forget when there wasn't a lot to remember? No, what I said, Kareek, and maybe it didn't come across clearly, I apologize, was that you could make the argument of, oh, how can you forget when there's not a lot publicly been announced? But I was saying that I think there is genuinely a communication problem within Starbreeze. I think the communication is not solid within the company, and I think it leads to errors like that, Kareek, where people forget what has been announced and what hasn't, or what they can say and what they can't say. So that's what I'm saying. I think the problem is, like, it's nothing against Almir. I mean, I love that guy. You all know that. He's trying his fucking best. That guy bleeds Payday. He cares so much about this franchise. I think what's happened is there was some kind of error in communication. He's not realized that the skill system was, in fact, already confirmed and they were working on it. Unless, of course, something had happened internally and they actually can't end up doing a skill system, and that's the first hint of it. But I don't know. I don't subscribe to that yet. I think we need more evidence for that. I think I'm more concerned about Armor 2.0 and offline mode, and then I'll worry about the skills rework afterwards. And yet also, Gilby, a lot of Almir's statements aren't rehearsed. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you will say things that come out wrong. Like earlier, where I was reading Matt's thing, I went, this motherfucker said, and very quickly backtracked and went, I'm not calling him motherfucker, that's just a turn of phrase. Because anxiety be anxiety, and I don't want him thinking I called him that, because I wasn't calling him that. It just sounded like it. Sometimes you will say things that don't sound quite right. I think what's important, though, is you need to clarify and confirm these things, as I did right after saying that. I was like, oh, I'm not calling him that. Sorry, let me clear that up. Almir doesn't do that afterwards, or Payday doesn't do that afterwards. That's not necessarily down to him. It's communication. Again, the problem is, the Payday Twitter is just like, hi, oh, we're working on content, oh, I'm going to reply to memes. Because I think they're unable to talk about shit. For whatever reason, there's some communication breakdown inside the studio and they can't talk about this shit. And whatever the blockage is, it needs fucking sorting. Because the more you communicate with the players, the more trust they can put in you and your game. If the players can't trust you, then you're already failed at the front door. You know what I mean? You failed at the first hurdle. And I think that just causes more problems. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. The main source of news regarding Payday 3 being from 2-hour-long streams really sucks. Yeah, I've said this a million times. I think it's an absolute travesty that the only time we can even get shreds of information is on a live stream, and the only reason you can find out is if someone happens to report it on Reddit. And there are people out there who are doing that work, and Godspeed to you. You know, I was doing those videos on the Reddit, the Payday streams for a little while, and I very quickly just went, oh, I can't be arsed, man. Like, I couldn't keep doing it. Sorry, I need to check my tutoring site. Something's come through, apparently. What have I got? A new request? Give me 1 second, sorry. Oh, bugs. Okay, that's annoying. The only annoying thing about school holidays is when parents and kids cancel their lessons. I'm like, shit, man. That's my money. That's my money you just took from me. That's my money. That's 2 weeks of pay I'm not going to get. Fuck you. No. No, fair enough. Easter holidays and all that. Anyway, so what's people saying? Quit releasing Almir from his responsibility. He's not a victim here. The thing you gotta realize, Sabinia, is, as I've said already, the people who are actually on the dev level of Starbreeze, I know Almir's a little bit higher, but he's not in those executive levels. He's not in the chief financial officer levels, those kind of things. He still answers to the higher-ups of Starbreeze. So even if he's above a lot of the average developers, he's still facing the same strenuous fucking decisions and budget pulls and staff pulls that every other developer is getting. Alright? He's just, the problem is, when you're the guy who's more known publicly from the Payday community, you're a much easier scapegoat. And I think, especially when times are tough for a company, it's very easy to then pin the blame on that scapegoat. And that's the problem with having a figure like that in a gaming community. You know? You think of certain games, you think of certain people who are the faces of them, and then they get extra scrutiny. Todd Howard for Bethesda. I'm not saying anyone is deserving or undeserving of scrutiny, these are just examples. You think Bethesda, you think Todd Howard. When you think about opening Overwatch years, you think of, was it Jeff, what was his name, was it Kaplan? Jeff from the Overwatch team? He was like the face of a lot of the stuff there. The problem is if you become a face of a game development team, you then are the face of the good and the bad, and then you're blamed for the good and the bad, whether you deserve it or not, you know? In Todd Howard's case, it's, you know, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies, but we all still love the guy. Xbox, Phil Spencer. Yeah, not every decision might have been Phil Spencer's, but he's the guy who's known for most for it, you know? There's also, what's her name, is it Sarah Bond? I think she's also a slightly bigger part. Yeah, so there's a whole load of stuff there. But yeah, I think there needs to be the communication backlog is one of the biggest problems. If they talk more about what's going on, they get more trust in the audience. And even just sharing the things that are said on stream, sharing them and also taking the chance as you share them to clarify them, I think would be really important. So, hey Heisters, today on stream, Alme mentioned Armor 2.0. We just want to reconfirm that is coming in the next update. Or, hey Heisters, Alme discussed the skill system earlier, just to reconfirm Alme actually had there was some confusion, or Alme had said the wrong thing, or anything like that. Or not to throw him under the bus, but to be like, he said this on stream, but on the roadmap, you can see that it is coming, so please do trust the roadmap. That's what we put our confirmed information, and if that changes, we'll let you know. That's all it takes. That is all it takes, but they don't do that. And I'm at a point now where I honestly think there's such a lockdown in communication on what they can and can't say inside the studio. I've got no evidence of this. Again, I've not been a partner for a couple of months now, so I don't know for sure. But I honestly think that we're getting to a point where there's such a communication breakdown. They just can't talk about this shit. That's how it comes across to me. Either that, or there's just genuine ineptitude in communication. And from what I know of Starbreeze, I just really hope that it's not that. I think they're not allowed to talk about stuff. There's some things they can and can't talk about. And it's the same company where, seemingly, their now former interim CEO was more concerned about where you talked about layoffs than actually helping the people being laid off. It feels perfectly in tandem with the rest of it. That's what makes me sad. So, anyway, folks, do you know what? We're gonna do a really funny stream today in saying that it's a Payday 3 stream where we don't play Payday, because I am not interested to start the game after all that. Can you blame me? I don't think so. I'm doing well, Gold Butter Woman. Thank you very much for that. I doubt the other partners know about many communication issues. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, they could be talking about it in the partner server. I don't know what else they got to fucking talk about in there, but I don't know. I'm not privy to those conversations, so I wouldn't want to assume one way or the other. But yeah, you make a good point. I mean, I don't know how much about that they would actually share to partners. Because really, did they really talk about that when I was a partner? Like, yeah, it's more of an internal thing anyway, isn't it? So yeah, I'm saying it like partners would know, but would they even fucking know? Probably not. Oh, I don't know. It's weird being on the outside now and not having that direct communication the same way anymore. It's weird. It's fucking weird. I don't regret my decision though. To be clear, I don't regret my decision in the least. But yeah, I don't know. Ugh, what a mess, man. What a mess. Right. Okay. So, I have a question, folks. I want to leave with something, and it's just changing something ever so slightly topic-wise. And it's this. As a lot of you know, I really want to try and do non-Payday content on the main channel. And I stand by it. I still want to. Obviously, as I talked about at the start of the stream, I definitely have a battle in my head where sometimes I just won't do it because I'll sit there and go, what's the point in putting effort into this video? It isn't even going to do well. You're wasting your time. No one's going to give a shit. I know there are people out there that do give a shit, but I mean grand scheme of things. And one problem I had was I went to start streaming other games on YouTube as well as Twitch, so multi-streaming everything. I chose Fortnite, and I lost subscribers as a result of it. Now, it was a few subscribers I lost, and you could say, oh, well, just fucking suck it up, get on with it, and keep going. But that really did scare me off multi-streaming on YouTube. So I just said multi-streaming for Payday, and maybe Crime Boss if I do that again on stream, and then Twitch for everything else. Now, what's been interesting is, I don't tend to, I share my analytics sometimes when I think they're relevant, and one thing I will say is my subscriber count has boomeranged so much it would put a stereotypical Australian to shame. I say stereotypical because it is a stereotype and I don't want to play into it too much. That being said, I literally have had days where I've gained a bunch of subs and days where I've lost a bunch of subs. And it honestly, sometimes it doesn't even make sense. Sometimes it's because I posted a non-Payday video and people unsubscribed. Sometimes I post a Payday video and people unsubscribed. It's so untrustworthy now that I don't really know what's going to happen with my sub count. As long as I don't go under 40k, I'll be happy. If I go under 40k, I would be heartbroken. But because of that nature, I'm kind of in a mind of like, well, if my sub count's fluctuating anyway because of videos, why not just fucking multi-stream anyway? And do every game on every platform? And, the reason I think that is because if I really do want to push on the non-Payday stuff, I think it would be a good idea to push it in all angles on both channels. Because I used to multi-stream it, or used to stream every game on YouTube anyway. People didn't really care. So I'm just intrigued to know, and this is mainly to the YouTube audience, because the Twitch audience should be watching on Twitch anyway, but to the YouTube audience, how do you feel one way or the other about me streaming non-Payday content? Because, of course, the most important thing to remember is if you don't want to watch a particular stream, you just don't click it, would you really, if you saw it, would you really be, tempted to unsubscribe because you saw a stream that you weren't interested in? I'm intrigued to get the YouTube takes, so please do let me know your thoughts on that. I'd really appreciate it. The more the merrier, and the longer the thoughts, the better. I'd be really happy with that. Karik on Twitch is saying, it depends on where you want to take yourself and your channel. If you try and dive into new content, people who are here exclusive Payday may be scared off, but if you want to expand the plunge, maybe you need it to be brave. Yeah, very true. Very true. I don't know. If there's no Payday content, other content would be great. That's what I'm hoping. Isn't that why a lot of YouTubers and streamers don't get too caught up in the sub count? Probably. I think I'm one of a dying breed that still cares about the sub count. I think that's mainly because, I think I said this when I was younger, I always set a goal that I wanted to get an award for something. Not like an award as in like, you know, you won the award for this, but like a physical plaque. Just so I could look at something and go, do you know what? I earned that with hard work. And for me, it was getting that 100k subscriber plaque. And like my goal when I started YouTube was I would love to get to that point. Now look, it's taken me about 10 years to get to 40k. So like, let's be real. It's probably unlikely I'll ever get to 100k. If it happens, that'd be fucking brilliant. I'd be so happy. But I probably need to let that idea go and just focus more on making videos. But I think because the sub count is one of the things I always see when I log into YouTube Studio, I'm just constantly fronted by it, and also like the change in the last 28 days. And if I see like a decrease even by a few, I'm like, fuck. So, I don't know. But also there's an element of most people who are watching my videos aren't even subscribed. And if you're watching this right now and not subscribed, fuck you. No, please do subscribe. I would appreciate it. I don't see why someone should unsub for a streamer streaming something they don't like. Well, yeah, that's the thing. If I'd have gone out on record and gone, I am not playing Payday anymore, fine. I would expect droves of unsubs. I would fully expect that. But if I haven't said that and I just stream a different game, what the fuck's the problem, man? You know? Needs something physical? Exactly, yeah, something physical. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I don't know. Why not look at the mental aspect of, wow, there are thousands of people who take time out of their days to watch me and the content I watch. That's thousands of hours combined, people's lives that you're impacting and changing. Oh no, I fully agree and I'm aware of that, and I'm so grateful for that, Creek, genuinely. I think this is more for my own personal, like achievement's sake, I guess. I don't know. It's just always a goal that I had. But no, I'm aware, like, I am grateful for all the time people point to my content. Like, it means the world. People think that people care at all to hear my opinions on anything, whether it's Payday or non-Payday. The fact that you care about what this fucking random nerd in this bedroom has to say about anything, that means a lot to me. It really does. So yeah. So I'm just kind of keeping it. Real Sigmas are subscribed and members. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Even realer Sigmas, they gift memberships or gift subs on Twitch. If you can afford to. Yeah, if you can support the stream, obviously, as always, feel free. I'll give the usual blurb. On Twitch, you can subscribe with Twitch Prime if you want to do it for free. If you have Amazon Prime and haven't used your Prime sub, you get a free sub every month. Make sure you use it on a streamer. It doesn't have to be me. You can also subscribe, gift subs, or donate bits to the channel. Or on YouTube, on Twitch, there is a donate button under the stream. That is the best way to support me, because I get the support instantly, and I get the biggest cut out of it. YouTube, you can subscribe. Obviously, that's free, so please make sure that you do that. And then you can become a channel member if you want to support me and get some extra bonuses. The main thing is going to be early access to future content. I'm going to try and put stuff out so you get something worthwhile for your membership. I'm aware you haven't had that, and I want to make sure that you do. So the next thing will be the Sonic 06 video. I mentioned that, where I'm going to do my like a highlight reel of the opening few hours of playing that game. And oh, thank you very much, Mishi, for the 22 months on
It's them
Twitch.
aliens. I'll bet my pension. What do you want this time, you green swine?
Love ya tons, friend. I'll be on YouTube.
Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you for the 22 months with Prime. I think you can make that 100k dream if you do keep up with multi-streaming. It can hurt your content, but I feel like if you are not enjoying stream Payday a lot, I feel like you stream other games. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, part of me is thinking I'm at the point now where I'm like, I need to take the plunge and start doing other stuff. Because at that point then, even if my content suffers short term, it might do better long term. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, I shared this a little while ago, but I already told myself, if Payday 3 didn't work for whatever reason, I would quit YouTube. That was genuinely my attitude in 2023. I was like, right, you are coming on doing 10 years of YouTube now. You've got to get to a point where you're like, is it worth still doing this anymore? Is it worth putting your time into other things? And I said to myself, right, Payday 3 is the make or break thing. If that does well and my channel takes off, I really give this everything. If it doesn't take off, I rethink and step away from YouTube. And I didn't. I didn't step away anyway, because I enjoy it. Even when I have my periods of no motivation, I enjoy making the content. I enjoy having being people hanging out and talking to me in chats and stuff like that. So I don't want to stop.
Hell yeah, Gene Hunt,
But
your
obviously
DCI in its
thinking through-
1973.
Thank
Almost
you very
in a
much,
time
Herb, for the resub on
having
Twitch
nukes.
with Prime. Thank you very much. Appreciate that for 3 months. And a hype train is almost going on Twitch. If someone wants to subscribe or gift bits, that'd be amazing. Thank you. But yeah, so I feel like diving into new content is a jump that more creators are locked by the fandoms they should do. Yeah, that's the thing. And I've said this a million times, and I mean this with all love in the world to a Payday audience. A Payday audience is loyal to Payday, but to a fault. To the point where if you do something non-Payday, they don't give a shit. Some people do, but most don't. And you can see that with other creators. General Badass is a big example of that. I don't know the guy personally, but you can see from his content when he did stuff that wasn't Payday, he didn't do nearly as well. And I don't even know, has the guy just quit now altogether? He's not really doing much content-wise anymore. He did that big Payday 3 video, he did a couple of videos afterwards, and then just kind of stopped, I think. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. Oh, Asax, is that how I say your name with the Prime sub? Thank you very much. It's a hype train on Twitch. Anyone who's able to gift subs or subscribe or gift bits to support the channel would be greatly appreciated while that's going. But yeah, so I think I'm of a mind where at the minute now I'm really thinking about what I'm going to do with my life over the next year. This next year is going to be quite interesting because once my tutoring wraps up when the exam season's over in June, I'm going to really be thinking about where to go next. And I want to put more time into content, but I also, part of me is thinking about going into like some more reliable full-time work, which obviously would impact YouTube. And I don't want to get to that point. I wouldn't like to do that. But obviously needs must. You know, man's got to pay bills. Man's got to be able to buy things. Man's got to be able to occasionally treat himself to Sonic the Hedgehog merch. Including, I put this on my story yesterday. Look at this sexy... Oh, God, the wings fell off. That's not good. He's got one wing. I got a shadow statue. It's fucking cool. But a wing came off, so that's not ideal. That should not have happened. So that's embarrassing. Oh, let's pop that back in. But yeah, like, I occasionally treat myself to things, but I need to make money. So whether that's through my tutoring, whether that's through YouTube, whatever it's through, man's got to pay the bills somehow. You know what I mean? So, hang on, I'm just going to try and put this fucker back in. Ooh, come on. There we go. It's in. Cool. Cool. We're good. Okay. Oh! Cool. Good. There we go. Statue's fixed. Okay. Right. But yeah, anyway, so... oh, don't call me a Sigma. I won't call you a Sigma, Sax. Don't worry, I won't. But yeah, so I think one-winged angel shadow for... Oh my god, two of you saying one-winged angel shadow. That's a reference I clearly don't get. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'm thinking a lot about like where I'm going to go going forward. I think I need to make the push into Final Fantasy VII. I've not played Final Fantasy. I haven't, okay? Don't judge me. So, yeah. I think that's one thing I will be doing. I'll be trying to expand into the content. And I think I will try multi-streaming on YouTube as well again. I really would be intrigued to see how that does. That does mean I will still do the VOD channel, because that's like the local 1440p recordings, which are better quality than the streams. I'll still do the VOD channel. But I think it might be an idea to keep doing that on both. I don't know. I'll see. Currently judging. I'm sorry. Become an epic Roblox YouTuber for real. Well, it's funny you should say that, because tomorrow I'm actually going to be doing a sponsored Roblox stream. I'll explain more when we do it tomorrow, but I've got a Roblox campaign that kicks off tomorrow, so we'll be streaming Roblox tomorrow night. There is freedom to choose game modes. There's a couple of games I might check out specifically, but it's kind of more of a free thing to pick what I want to do. But a couple of ideas. I want to check out Notoriety again for one thing, because that's now on console Roblox, so I can play on Xbox. I also really want to try Sonic Speed Simulator, because of course I fucking do. I've seen mention of that being quite a fun game on Roblox, so I might give that a bit of a go. But also just like general other games. If there's anything people want me to check out, I'll check out some different games. We'll have a couple of hours and just see what there is. You know what I mean? So please do swing by tomorrow's stream. I will ask, because I don't know what the discrepancy is for multi-streaming a sponsored stream. I don't know how that would look if I did that on YouTube as well tomorrow. I may only be able to do that on Twitch. But if I can, I'll do it on both platforms. But I think what I will do is try and multi-stream going forward. So all of you know, I'm going to be streaming. Obviously, today I've done my stream today. I've got tomorrow and Friday. Tomorrow's a Roblox stream. Friday is game to be decided. Haven't fully locked in on that yet. Might do the next Black Ops 6 Zombies map, 'cause that's out today. I haven't seen any opinions on it yet. Kareek, I'm expecting you've played a bit of it yet. Any non-spoiler thoughts so far? Any particular opinions? Anything you want to share? Better or worse than any particular maps? Without spoiling it. It's very hard. Oh. How does it rank among the BO6 maps for you? Kareek, by the way, YouTube chat is in my Twitch chat. He's a very big BO6 player and someone who knows a lot more about Black Ops 6 Zombies than I do. You think it's the best map so far and has the hardest Easter egg? Interesting. Okay. So I think I might check that out on Friday then. Okay, cool. Might do that on Friday. Is it worth me not playing it and doing my like first impressions on the Friday, do you think, Kareek? Probably a better option to do that, right? Because by that point, people will know what to do, and I can get assistance if I need it. But it could be first reactions. I think that would be a good idea. Been playing all night and made barely any progress. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, I think I'll do first impressions on Friday then. At that, cool. So yeah, YouTube people, keep an eye out, and I will probably do multi-streaming for other stuff going forward. One thing I am going to do, and I mentioned this already, I mean, Twitter banner and what I've been talking about recently is probably no shock, but I do want to play through some older Sonic games I either haven't fully played or want to replay. And that's going to start with Sonic Adventure 2. I probably should do Sonic Adventure 1, because I've only played Sonic's campaign in that. I haven't played the rest of them, but I will probably just do Sonic Adventure 2. I've played the Hero campaign in that last year, but I'll probably just play the whole thing start to finish. But what I want to do is kind of go through some of the main Shadow games. So play through Sonic Adventure 2, play through Sonic Heroes, and then play through Shadow the Hedgehog. Because, funny enough, Shadow being my favourite character, I've never actually got the full final ending in Shadow the Hedgehog, because you had to do all 10 endings. I know there's a version on PC where you can only have to do 3 of them, but I still would probably play the 10 version one. I'll look into that upgraded version of Shadow and see, maybe. But I want to stream all 3 of those. So I'd like to kind of get almost a weekly series going for that. That could be really cool. But I think starting with Sonic Adventure 2, with that being one of the most popular ones, would be a really good way to kick it off. So I think that's what we'll do. So yeah, there's my current thoughts. So, you know what? I only played a little Sonic 06 that looked cool as a kid. I actually just finished that last night. And I gave it a 6 out of 10. I think it's janky. There's a lot of broken mechanics, and there are several times where certain level layouts and boss fights really piss me off. But the thing with that game is, it's got a lot of heart, and you can see that a lot of, like, they tried a lot with it. But it just came out too early. It was interesting. I was watching a Snapcube VOD a little while ago, and she made an argument that, you know, Sonic Forces was just kind of like, oh, quite shitty level design. It was just like very basic shit. You run through it, you were done. Whereas Sonic 06, even though it didn't function well, you could see the heart behind the level design. You could see what they were going for, and you could see that love and attention was there, even if it didn't come through fully in execution. And I fully agree with that sentiment. I really enjoyed a lot of that game, especially Shadow's campaign. Shadow was really good in that game. Really fucking good. Ironically, I think Sonic's episode was the worst one. Him and Elise was just a strange pairing. It was a very strange pairing, the way some of that was written. Nice smile! Just odd. Very odd. But Shadow's campaign, fucking cool. Shadow and Mephiles, really good. And actually, speaking of, that was one other thing I treated myself to when I got the Shadow statue. I got a Mephiles figure. Look at that. Look at that. Memphis, Tennessee. I got Memphis, Tennessee as a figure. Yeah, so, anyway, a lot of waffling. I'm going to wrap the stream up here. It's slightly less than 2 hours, but I think we've covered all the Payday stuff. So part of me is wondering, so, is it worth making a video on the stuff I've talked about today, summing it all up and kind of going over everything? I think possibly. I think I might save these tabs and go over some of the key things in a video. Kind of like a 10-15 minute recap, go over everything. For those of you who watch this stream, I'll be honest, probably not worth watching the video, but I'd still appreciate if you did it anyway, support it, get your thoughts, that kind of thing. Leave comments even. If you check it out, just drop a thumbs up and leave a comment. That'd be great. I'd really appreciate that. But I think that'd be a good way to come back. I think if I'm going to take a month off, if I come back, I need to start with Payday 3 and then do a non-Payday video. I think that'd be a better idea. So I think what I'll probably do is Payday 3 video probably on Friday, and then I'll hopefully make the Sonic 06 video next and put that out next week. And then after that, actually, Lost Records, the second tape of Lost Records Blue and Rage comes out in 2 weeks, and I've not played the first tape. So what I might do is I might stream that, because I should have played it already and I haven't. I just haven't got around to it for whatever reason. So maybe I'll do both those tapes. That could be fun. That could be fun. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you all very much for hanging out. I greatly appreciate it. And for the support as always. For those of you showing up after me being gone for a month, it means the world to me. I really, really do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed the stream, make sure you subscribe and or following on the relevant platforms. Give me all your money if you want to support me. No, I appreciate the support, the subs, and the membership gifts tonight. It really does mean a lot to me. We'll be back tomorrow at, I think, 8 p.m. So 50 minutes ago now, tomorrow, we'll be live with the Roblox stream. Oh, the Discord command is not working. Hang on. We're going to fix it live on stream. What's the site? Streamlabs. I forgot the URL. I forgot it was called Streamlabs. Can you tell it's been a minute? Right, log in with Twitch. Come on, log in. Come on. Okay. Right, here we go. Alert box, cloud bot, here we go. Yep, the bot is just off. Maybe it just turns itself off if you don't stream for a bit. Oh, YouTube. Wait, what? No way. Does it have the same commands on YouTube, or... Shit! Hold on a fucking second. If I try... Oh my god, Mitch, you made me think the bot was working then. Ah, I thought it was working for a second then, and it was going to work on YouTube too. That would have been amazing, but I don't think... It is! Oh my god, look at that, the bot is working! That is crazy. I didn't... So, this whole time, there was just a button to turn it on for YouTube, and I hadn't noticed. Oh, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. Oh my god. Okay, well, Noel's got the links covered over on Twitch, but on YouTube, you've got the Discord server, you can join there, and also you can check everything else out via my link tree. Seems like it's a little bit delayed on YouTube, but it will come through, so you can check everything through there. So please, on YouTube especially, make sure you join the Discord server. Easiest way to get in touch with me over there and ask me stuff and talk to me. I'm terminally online. I'll be around in there at some point. I'm there most days, even a little bit. But yeah, I really appreciate the support. The Roblox stream will be in, like I said, 23 hours from now, just about. The sponsor stream, so please do show up as best you can, even if it's just to watch. There will be ways you can take part to help support the channel and support me, but those are optional. Just literally hanging out and even playing if you can would be amazing. But yeah, appreciate you all being here. I live in hope, to conclude, I live in hope that at some point soon we can do a Payday 3 stream, and it'll be positive things to talk about. It won't be fear or unease about the future of the franchise. That'd be lovely, you know? We live in hope that one day we will reach that point. But until that point, we leave it there. So YouTube, folks, just wait 1 second. I'm going to see on Twitch if there's anyone we can raid. Yes, we can. Tainted Tally. Liz is streaming some Resident Evil. And I believe it is a subathon because her birthday is coming up in the next few days. So we can go and drop into her stream. Yeah, her birthday's in 4 days. It's the 6th, right? Yeah, it's the 6th. There you go. What a good friend I am. So yeah, so you can wish her a happy early birthday if you want, but yeah, I'll go drop some love in on her. So there we go. And then YouTube, obviously, should bring the stream to an end. So if you don't already know, by the way, YouTube, actually, I can share this now. There is the link to the VOD channel. That is where I upload the 1440p 60 versions of all these streams. I don't think the last stream I did in March, the only one I did in March, the Wallace and Gromit Power Wash Simulator video, is up on there. So I'll get that up soon. I'll get this one up too. I normally upload the streams within a few hours of the stream happening, so I'll try and get them both up soon. I'll upload them both and probably get them both up tomorrow, and then we'll be back up to date. So thank you all for hanging out. I will see you all soon. Much appreciated. Much love. Take care. I'll see you all tomorrow for the Roblox stream. Fingers crossed. So, yeah. See you later. Bye-bye.